Welcome to Book Bytes, the Azle Memorial Library's 2021 Summer Reading Book Buzz program. I'm Liz, the Adult Services Librarian here at the library, and myself and the other librarians can't wait to introduce you to the summer's best, hottest new releases. In addition to book synopsises, we will also discuss review citations and ratings for each title. If you're unable to watch the premiere of these videos, don't worry. They'll be accessible on the library's YouTube and Facebook pages. This week, I'd like to introduce Library Assistant Director Lisa Galletta, who will discuss up-and-coming new contemporary fiction, literary fiction, and romance titles.
Thanks, Liz. I'm so glad I get to talk to everyone today about these amazing books. So let's get started. Our first title, by Taylor Jenkins Reid, acclaimed author of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, is Malibu Rising. Malibu catches fire. It is simply what Malibu does from time to time. And with those opening lines, we're hooked. The book begins on August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end of summer party, and anticipation is at a fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel, brothers Jay and Hud, one a champion surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their adored baby sister, Kit. Together, the siblings are a source of fascination in Malibu and the world over, especially as the offspring of the legendary singer Mick Riva. The only person not looking forward to the party of the year is Nina herself, who never wanted to be the center of attention, and who has also just been very publicly abandoned by her pro tennis player husband. Oh, and maybe Hud, because it is long past time for him to confess something to the brother from whom he's been inseparable since birth. Jay, on the other hand, is counting the minutes until nightfall, when the girl he can't stop thinking about promised she'll be there. And Kit has a couple secrets of her own, including a guest she invited without consulting anyone. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. But before that first spark in the early hours before dawn, the alcohol will flow, the music will play, and the loves and secrets that shaped this family's generations will all come bubbling to the surface. Out June 1st, Malibu Rising is deemed a compulsively readable story by the Kirkus Review and already has over 2,000 reviews on Goodreads with an average rating of 4.3. It also has a starred book list, Kirkus, Library Journal, and Publishers Weekly reviews. Our next title comes from an author whose books have spent over 5 years on the New York Times bestseller list. That Summer by Jennifer Weiner is more than just your average breezy beach read. Daisy Shoemaker can't sleep. With a thriving cooking business, full schedule of volunteer work, and a beautiful home in the Philadelphia suburbs, she should be content. But her teenage daughter can be a handful. Her husband can be distant. Her work can feel trivial, and she has lots of acquaintances, but no real friends. Still, Daisy knows she's got it good. So why is she up all night? While Daisy tries to identify the root of her dissatisfaction, she's also receiving misdirected emails meant for a woman named Diana Starling, whose email address is just one punctuation mark away from our own. While Daisy's driving carpools, Diana is chairing meetings. While Daisy's making dinner, Diana's making plans to reorganize corporations. Diana's glamorous, sophisticated single lady life is miles away from Daisy's simpler existence. When an apology leads to an invitation, the two women meet and become friends. But as they get closer, we learn that their connection was not completely accidental. Who is this other woman? And what does she want with Daisy? From the manicured main line of Philadelphia to the wild landscape of the Outer Cape, written with Jennifer Weiner's signature wit and sharp observations, That Summer is a story about surviving our pasts, confronting our futures, and the sustaining bonds of friendship. Next up is the first book of a three-part series written by journalist Leila Slimani. A frequent commentator on women's and human rights, she has won the Simone de Beauvoir Prize for Women's Freedom and has been ranked number 2 on Vanity Fair France's annual list of the 50 most influential French people in the world. In the Country of Others is a love story that draws on the author's own family history. Mathilde, a spirited young Frenchwoman, falls in love with Amin, a handsome Moroccan soldier in the French army during World War II. After the war, the couple settles in Morocco to start a farm. While Amin tries to cultivate the rocky and unforgiving terrain, Mathilde feels suffocated by the harsh climate. Alone and isolated with her two children, she struggles with assimilation and classism. The 10 years of the novel are also those of a rise in tensions and violence that will lead in 1956 to Morocco's independence. All the characters in this novel live in the country of others: settlers versus natives, soldiers versus peasants, and exiles. Women, especially, live in the country of men and must constantly fight for their emancipation. With an expected publication date of August 10th, this title has already received a 3.8 rating on Goodreads, as well as pre publication alerts and reviews from Library Journal. If you're looking to read a familiar storyline, Kirkus calls the next title a warm and winning When Harry Met Sally update that hits all the perfect notes. Published on May 11th, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry is a perfect summer read. Poppy and Alex, Alex and Poppy. They have nothing in common. She's a wild child. He wears khakis. She has insatiable wanderlust. He prefers to stay home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best of friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City, and he's in their small hometown. But every summer, for a decade, they have taken one glorious week of vacation together. Until 2 years ago, when they ruined everything. They haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she should want, but she's stuck in a rut. When someone asks when she was last truly happy, she knows, without a doubt, it was on that ill fated final trip with Alex. And so she decides to convince her best friend to take one more vacation together, lay everything on the table, make it all right. Miraculously, he agrees. Now she has a week to fix everything. If only she can get around the one big truth that has always stood quietly in the middle of their seemingly perfect relationship. What could possibly go wrong? If you're looking for a new contemporary series to start, then check out 3-time Emmy Award winner, journalist, and The View co host Sunny Hostin's debut title, Summer on the Bluffs. Published on May 4th and with a 3.8 on Goodreads, this novel focuses on a life changing summer along the beaches of Martha's Vineyard. Oak Bluffs is known for its gingerbread Victorian style houses and modern architectural marvels. This picturesque town hugging the sea is a mecca for the creme de la creme of Black society, where Michelle and Barack Obama vacation, and Meghan Markle has shopped for a house for her mom. Since the 1600s, this posh town is the embodiment of old money. Every summer, Esperanza Perry Soto escapes the fetid heat of New York City for the gorgeous weather, cool water, and stunning views Oak Bluffs offers. Sharing a cottage on the beach owned by her ama with her husband and two godsisters, Perry is looking forward to trading meetings and clients for days of languor and fun. But this summer on the Bluffs is different. Amma is moving to the south of France to reunite with her college sweetheart. She's going to give the house to one of her goddaughters, and she has invited all three of them to spend the summer with her the way they did when they were kids. Though each of the women desperately want the house, each is grappling with a secret that they fear will make them lose Amma's approval and the house. New York Magazine declares our next author the Queen of Beach Reads. Ellen Hilderbrand is back with Golden Girl, a story about a Nantucket novelist who has one final summer to protect her secrets while her loved ones on Earth learn to live without their Golden Girl. On a perfect June day, Vivian Howe, author of 13 beach novels and mother of 3 nearly grown children, is killed in a hit and run car accident while jogging near her home on Nantucket. She ascends to the beyond, where she's assigned to a person named Martha, who allows Vivi to watch what happens below for one last summer. Vivi also is granted 3 nudges to change the outcome of events on Earth. And with her daughter Willa on her 3rd miscarriage, Carson partying until all hours, and Leo currently off again with his high-maintenance girlfriend, she'll have to think carefully where to use them. From the beyond, Vivi watches the chief, Ed Cappennash, investigate her death. But her greatest worry is her final book, which contains a secret from her own youth that could be disastrous for her reputation. But when hidden truths come to light, Vivi's family will have to sort out their past and present mistakes, with or without a nudge of help from above, while Vivi finally lets them grow without her. With all of Ellen's trademark beach scenes, mouth-watering meals, and picture-perfect homes, plus a heartfelt message, the people we lose never really leave us. Golden Girl is a beach book unlike any other, published on June 1st. Before I begin the next review, I just want to apologize if I mispronounce any of the Vietnamese names. Our next title has been reviewed by Kirkus and Publishers Weekly and has ongoing starred reviews from Booklist. Published on May 4th and with a 4.4 rating on Goodreads. Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nguyen is a debut work that follows an immigrant Vietnamese family who settles in New Orleans and struggles to remain connected to one another as their lives are inextricably reshaped. When Huang arrives in New Orleans with her 2 young sons, she is jobless, homeless, and worried about her husband, who remains in Vietnam. As she and her boys begin to settle into life in America, she continues to send letters and tapes back to her husband, hopeful that they will be reunited and her children will grow up with a father. But with time, Huang realizes she will never see her husband again. While she copes with this loss, her sons, Tuan and Bin, grow up in their absent father's shadow, haunted by a man and a country trapped in their memory and imagination. As they push forward, the 3 adapt to life in America in different ways. Huang takes up with a Vietnamese car salesman who is also new in town. Tuan tries to connect with his heritage by joining a local Vietnamese gang. And Bin, now going by Ben, embraces his adopted homeland and his burgeoning sexuality. Their search for identity as individuals and as a family threatens to tear them apart. But then disaster strikes the city they now call home, and they must find a new way to come together and honor the ties that bind them. And our last title for the day is great for fans of Sophie Kinsella and Catherine Ray. With a rating of 3.7 on Goodreads, Plot Twist by Bethany Turner comes out June 15th. This Christian fiction/romance read follows an aspiring screenwriter who has a chance encounter with an actor who could be the man of her dreams. Over the next 10 years, she'll write the story. But will he end up being the star? February 4th, 2003, promises to be a typical day for Olivia Ross, a greeting card writer whose passion project is a screenplay of her own. But after she and a handsome actor have a magical meet-cute in a coffee shop, they make a spontaneous pact. In 10 years, after they've found the success they're just sure they're going to achieve, they'll return to the coffee house to partner up and make a film together. The only problem? Olivia neglected to get the stranger's name, but she doesn't forget his face or the date. Every February 4th for the next 10 years, Olivia has a day full of coincidences and ironies. As men come and go and return to her life, she continues to write, but still wonders about the guy from the coffee shop. The nameless actor she's almost certain has turned out to be Hamish McDougall, now a famous A-lister and Hollywood leading man. But a lot can happen in 10 years, and while waiting for the curtain to rise on her fate, the true story of Olivia's life is being written. And if she's not careful, she'll completely miss the real-life romantic comedy playing out right before her eyes.
Thank you for sharing those titles with us. I hope you guys were able to find something to add to your to-be-read pile, but if not, don't worry. Check out our other videos in this series. If you weren't able to check out the premiere of any video, you can access them through our YouTube and Facebook pages. Thank you and see you next week.